Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Skill RPA. So in the previous videos of document understanding series, what we have covered is like what actually the document understanding concept and what are the different phases we have in the document understanding. So in order to get that, go to other phases, what we said is like taxonomy is not a phase, it is a prerequisite in order to perform the other phases. Like the digitization won't have any prerequisite, whereas the classification and the extraction will have the prerequisites on top of this taxonomy. So in order to start with the other steps, what we need to do is we need to start with our taxonomy. So how to get the taxonomy here? So for to get the taxonomy or like to utilize these document understanding features, we need to install a package. So we just need to go to the manage packages and we need to search for intelligent. So we have this UiPath intelligent OCR automation activities where we will be having all the document understanding packages and the taxonomy and all the related activities. We'll get it here. So we just need to click on install and save. So the document understanding activities, related activities or a taxonomy, everything will get reflected here. Once we install these packages, we can see the taxonomy here on top of the ribbon. So prior to this, like we don't have this taxonomy. And let me open the project folder as well. So here is my project folder. Okay. Once let me close this Word document because we are not going to have any text inputs right now. Okay. So here we got the taxonomy and this is our project folder. So let us start defining the taxonomy. First, let us understand what actually the taxonomy, how the taxonomy manager looks like. So this is our taxonomy manager. Once we click on that taxonomy manager from the ribbon, and this will open up. So when we want to create, like we can, like we have two options here to create. One is group and the other is the document type. And this group is an optional because the group is to group the type of documents in order for us to organize our different types of documents into different groups. So we can directly go ahead and create the document type, but instead like we can create the groups and we can organize our process. So it is kind of a best practice to do that, but it is not mandatory to do. So when I say group, I can provide any company name, skill RPA, click on save. So my group is created. Under this group, we will be having like again the category and the document type. See, document type is common in each and every place, like homepage or like if we go under the group in that also, the document type will be available for you because this we can directly define the document type. But whereas this category, like whatever we are seeing right now, the category or the group, these are to organize these document types. So I want to organize because I want to go with procurement. So from different departments, I want to categorize into different so that it will be easier for me to organize my process or organize my documents. So once I created this category, under that, I can create the document types. So we are going to deal with invoices and the purchase orders. So let us consider two different document types. Purchase orders. So now we created two different categories. If we see that this is invoice and this is the purchase order. So we got the group and category both, right? Like because we created under this. In case if I directly go ahead and create here tax document, if I click on save, it will be directly available here. If I click on this tax document, it is not allocated to any group or it is not given to any category. So if I select this, see this, when we have seen that the hierarchy, so if I click on none, it will be under this taxonomy. So if I minimize this, this will be available because it's directly on top of that and it was not into any group. Even if I create directly the document type, In case if I want to organize that to another group, simply I just need to select it. And now if I minimize this, this is not available because it is under this skill group. And I can even add to the category as well. So I can add to the procurement. But here I don't want to go with the procurement because the taxation won't under the procurement. So what I can do is I can just create one more and I can just say payroll. I just want to consider under the payroll only. So again, what I can do is I can just come here and I can change the category to payroll. So it will be under this. Now it was organized in this way. So this group and categories will help us to organize our documents. So for time being, like we are just going with invoices and purchase orders. So now I just created these document types, and before going to create or see about the fields, let us see what actually happened in the background. So let me close this. So everything will be auto save in this taxonomy. Like it is not necessary for us to save anything. So if I click on it here, whatever we already defined, it was already auto saved. So this auto save is there for the taxonomy. That's the reason for which you won't find any save button or something here. And once we created this, a new folder is got generated. If you see the time difference, a new folder is got created. As soon as we define something in the taxonomy, by default, this document processing folder will be created, and inside that, a taxonomy.json file will be created. And let us open this and see how it actually looks like. So here is my taxonomy.json, and this is got created, and let us try to understand what how the schema looks like. So before getting into these details, let us directly come down, jump down. If we see this, we have the supported languages. So these are the list of languages which our taxonomy is going to support. Not only English, like we have different languages as well. So it will support all these languages, including Hindi. So we can use this document understanding or UiPath's document understanding to extract the information out of any of these different language documents. When I say the documents, not only the PDFs, it can be the images as well. So now let us understand each hierarchy of this JSON file. So let us open this taxonomy and keep the things side by side. So if we see here, this is the version of this. So it's not necessary to think like it will be auto incremented as soon as like we are doing the things. And when it comes to the categories, right? So it is directly giving the document types. As I said, document types are not dependent on the categories or the groups. It is just for us, it is just to manage our um, documents, to organize that. See, here we have the groups tag. So what we have the groups, we have only one group, skill RPA. If we want to add one more group, we can just click on this two. So I'll just click on save here. So the second group is got added, and let us see how it will get reflected. So let me close this and reopen that again. So here we got the second group. Let me come here. Yeah. See, now we have two groups. We have two groups here, skill RPA and skill RPA2. When I expand this, we can see two different categories here. So we got these two categories. But here, under skill RPA2, we didn't define any category. So we are not getting anything here. Okay. Now, let us try to understand each document type. We define the document types. So here, it will be under this document types. It's an array of different document types, whatever we defined it. So what it is saying is, this is a document type ID. It will be unique for each document. Whatever the name we are providing here, that we will be getting it under in these categories. Like see, this is the group and this is the category and this is the document type. In case if we are not having anything, under this, let us go ahead and create one document type here. Non-group document, and click on save, and let us reopen this again. As soon as we make some changes, we just need to reopen this taxonomy.json so that the changes will get reflected. Let us compare this side by side. So here the document type is like group dot category dot document type, right? So we created one more non-group document, right? See here, no group, no category, and non-group document type. So we don't have any group for this, and we don't have any category. So by default, we are going to get this, and this group and category will be empty. And what is the name? Whatever the name we provided, that name we are going to get it here. So in terms of group, category, and invoices, in this combination, it should be unique. So we cannot create invoices again under this. Let us try to create invoices. See, a document with the type with the same name already exists. So we cannot create, but that's the reason for which it is going to generate the document ID based on these three. And in another category, we can create again. If we come here, invoice, 1 second. So here in this different group again, we can add the document type. So it will be generating unique all the time, and it is going to give the group and category of that as well, and the name of the document whatever we created here. Okay, and what is this optional unique identifier? So let us understand this. So let me come here. When we click here, we have the document type code. So we can give, see, we have this document type ID, right? So in the similar way, we can just give one more INVS. So it will be auto saved. If we click on outside, then it will be get auto saved. And let us reopen this again. See here, it will get reflected here. So it is an optional item and it is not necessary to define it. Sorry. Yeah. Let me open this and let me put it side by side. Yeah. And type field is, what is the type of field it is? The type is document type. So we created only the document. That's the reason for which we got the field name as document type. And the field ID will be invoices.document type. So this is about the document types. So how many document types we are going to create? We are going to get those many items inside this document types. So this is one invoices and this is for purchase orders. So under this so there is no group, and whatever the document we created, we got this document. So these fields, the fields are like when we come here and when we click on this document, we are getting the field to add these things. So as soon as we add these fields, it will get reflect here. Before going for the fields, so whatever we define these document types still here, these are going to help us in the classification phase. So as we said, we have digitization, classification, and extraction, right? So the digitization won't have any dependency, but when it comes to the classification, the taxonomy is going to help us to classify the type of document. So based on these document types, whatever we define, it is going to identify the type of document and it is going to return this document type ID for that. So this is how it is going to play a role in the classification. And when it comes to the fields, and this is going to when we are defining these fields, what are the different fields we need to extract from each of these documents? So which means like it is going to help us in terms of extraction. So let us take some sample things. So this is an invoice and this is the purchase order. So what we are need to extract from these documents? So from invoices, what are the different fields we may need to extract? So that we are going to define here under this document type, these fields. So for invoices, what we are going to need to get like invoice number and invoice date. Date issued is nothing but the invoice date and the total and the billing address. These are the main fields what we need to extract from an invoice. There might be some other fields as well. So based on the invoice to invoice, right? So if we come here, here we may need to extract the tax as well. And we may need to extract, in some invoices, it may need to extract the uh, due date as well. So it depends on the invoice to invoice. So let us consider a couple of fields in order to extract this, define this taxonomy and see how this taxonomy.json is going to change when we are defining it here. So let us add an invoice number. So when we define this name, the field name, it is going to ask you for what is the type of the field. So whether the invoice number is like purely a number, sometimes it might be number, but when we keep on checking the things, the number may have the text as well, right? Sometimes it might not be only the numbers. Sometimes we'll be having, see here, INV and the number is there. So it's a combination of text and the number. So we consider that this field as a text because when it comes to the text, it will be always a free text. It will accept any kind of characters. When we define it as a number, it will accept only the numbers. So we have different types here, like what kind of type we will be having that field, and we will be selecting that field type and click on save. And let us add few more fields as well. And we need to take invoice date. And we need to be sure when we are giving these names, and these names are going to play very crucial role when we are going to for the extraction. The output result will have these field names. Whatever the names we are taking, right? The same names will be reflected back. Click on save. So we define two fields and total. It will be a number. Click on save. So we define these three fields and we need to define the billing address as well. And the type will be address. Click on save. So we define four fields from there and let us see how that our taxonomy is going to look like, because we defined for only one document and we didn't define for the other documents. So let us open this. And let me just go here and just convert this and let us put both the things side by side. So we got here, right, the fields. Now these got added. So we have the invoice number and each field will have its invoice, again, the unique IDs. It will be group dot category dot document type dot field. So this is the combination in order for our taxonomy is going to generate the field ID for us. And the field name is invoice number. And what is this multi-value? So when we click on this, see here we have is multi-value. In case if we enable this, it will accept multiple instances of that. Multiple instances in the sense, let us suppose we have an invoice number here. It might be available in the next page as well. Or in the same page in the bottom also sometimes the people, you see, it depends, these formats are depends on from the vendor to vendor or a company to company, how they are going to have their template, right? So it may be possible that we might be having invoice number on the top and also in the below as well. So as I said, like see here we have both the dates, invoice date and the due date as well. So the fields also define varies from based on our requirement, like what are the different fields we want to extract. So the invoice number might be available in two places. So in that case, we are going to enable this. So here I just want to make it unique only one instance. And so for total, I want to enable multi-value. So we'll see, like we'll just close this and we'll see like how the things are getting differentiated. And the type, whatever the type we defined here, if it is a number, it will be number. And when we are looking at for the invoice number, right, it is text. So it is taking it as a text. And derived field format, see this derived field format is, it is not prefixed. Say, whenever we take the data and if you want to convert into some different type, in that case this derived field format will come. Like whatever we extracted, we are not going to return the same, and we are going to do some modification on top of that, and we are not going to return it. And this field is supported, required only for the date items. If we click on this invoice date, expected format is there right here. So in which format you want, like you want in the day, month, year, or month, day, year. So that format we are going to define. So let us write in the same format, day, comma, month, comma, year. And if we click on outside, it will be saved. And let us reopen this and see. I want to just close this out and reopen it. Let me go to the taxonomy. Yeah. Here it is. Let us come to the invoice date. So here the type is date taken and the derived field format. So it is going to return the date in this format, though the formats are in multiple variances. See, the major challenge when we are dealing with the invoice documents is like we are any documents, we will face challenge at the date, because everyone will have their own way of writing the date formats, right? If we see here, it is date, month, and year, and someone will write in different format. See here, month, date, year. So everyone will have their own fashion of writing these date formats, and the conversion from one to the other is always a challenging. So the UiPath document understanding is going to help us here in order to derive the format in whatever the output format we want, and it will convert into this format, and it is going to give us back, so that it is going to help us or making our life easy in order to convert it. And when it comes to the components, we won't be having any components when it comes to our field values other than the tables. So these components will be having it for only the tables. We are going to define it and we'll see. And the set values, when it comes to the set values, means like it will consider only the allowed values. We can predefine, let us suppose when we are dealing with, let us suppose country. So we just want to extract only the proper country names and only for specified. So we can define those values here, and only those will be returned here. And the metadata is, see, when we see this field name invoice date, we have the color and some hotkey combination, right? So which is not depending, it is not going to influence anything when it comes to the extraction or the classification. And it is going for a presentation purpose, the viewability for the user, or some actions or shortcuts what we need to take care of that. So that will come under the metadata. So the color and the hotkey, so these two will come under this metadata. And let us see how the set values and the components look like, and let us define few more fields. I'm just giving country, and I'm giving the field type as set, and I'm going to click on save. Once we click on save, it requires a list of data. So let us add India, USA, Europe. Click on save. So now the our set values will get reflected for this particular country field. And let us add one more field, which is of table. We call it as line items or invoice lines. So we need to select it as a table and click on save. Now it is asking to define the columns. When we see the invoices, we have the description, unit price, quantity, and amount. These four are common in any of the invoices. And sometimes it might be missing out with the unit price or something will be there. But these are the common things which we should extract from the invoices. So let us go ahead and define the columns here. So I'm going to say description, and we need to give the field type. So again, we consider each line item type as a, like, again, the fields. So the description will be always text, and let us add the quantity, QTY, and it will be number. Quantity is always number. Sometimes along with this quantities, right, along with the numbers, sometimes in some invoices we'll be having one NOA, like numbers, or one unit. So in that way we will be having something or other. So we just want to extract only the number from there. So we are going to define it as a number, and unit price, the type will be number, line amount or amount. See, I want to see whatever we are giving it as a name, that is going to reflect back in the output. So it is up to us, like, what we are going to define. Line amount, yeah. So now even our table is got created. If we see all the fields, only this table will have this subfields. So these are the columns. So now the table is also got created. And let us go ahead and close this, open the taxonomy again. So we need to understand this taxonomy.json, because this is a schema how our taxonomy looks like and how it is going to help us in terms of both extraction and the classification. This is going to give us some clear picture. So now let us come to the country. Oh, we said, like, total is multi-value, right? So where is this total? So let us first cover this total and then see here. Is multi-value became true. So in case if there are multiple instances, that will be returned out for us. And let us come to country here. If we come to the country, here it is, set values. We have these fields. So how this is going to help us is when we go for the validation stations, there it is going to give us the drop down in order to select it in case if the data is not properly identified. So we'll see that when we are going for the present validation station or extraction validations, we'll see these values over there. So let us come to the table. See, here it is, line items, and the type is table, and the components. Now we have the components inside this, like description, quantity, line amount. Where is the unit price? Yeah, here is the unit price. So we have whatever we define the columns, we got it as a separate fields here. Again, we have the field name, field ID, and again we have everything whatever we have here. Okay. So these are the components is nothing but when we define the table, we'll have different column names, right? Everything will be considered as a different field, and this is how our taxonomy will look like. In case if we define the values for this purchase order again that is going to reflect under the purchase order. Let us come here. So when we have the document type, and this is the document type of invoices, and under this we have these fields, right? Again, if we go to the here purchase orders, here is the purchase orders, and the fields are empty. Again, if we define the fields here, the similar schema will get reflected here. So this is how we are going to work with the taxonomy. And once the taxonomy is defined, what is going to happen? So we defined our taxonomy and we got our taxonomy file got created. If we click on the load, get the load taxonomy, so it is not going to take any input here. it will have only the output object. And let me just create obj taxonomy. So a variable will be created, and it is type of document taxonomy. Okay, and how it is going to take is, it is going to take this taxonomy.json and it will load and it will return our taxonomy object. And let us suppose we want to use the same taxonomy in multiple projects. And what I want to do is, I just cut this out and I'll put it in some downloads folder. So it is under this folder and we don't have anything. Let me open this project folder. We don't have this now, document processing here. If we execute this, it is going to throw an error. See, it is saying that it could not able to find under this project folder document processing and taxonomy.json, because we removed that from there and we moved it to some other location, right? See, under this we don't have, right? It is saying that under documents UiPath document processing, and under this we don't have the folder document processing taxonomy.json. So because we don't want to maintain the taxonomy under each project and we want to maintain it in some other location, and we want to see how it actually looks like, right? So in that case, what we are going to do, so let us keep this object here itself and let us have a read text activity, read text file activity, and we moved it to here, right? Let us copy this file path, take this file path and give it here, and it is going to return me into a string format, right? Let us create string taxonomy. So whatever we have over there, we are just reading it out here. Let me see. Okay, that is fine. I want to use the absolute path, and it is not a problem. It is just giving me a warning, and it's a new enhancement, new features we are getting into UiPath, and it is asking, it is suggesting to take the relative path. Okay. Now what I will do is, I'll just create assign activity here, and in that I'll take this object taxonomy. Okay. So here, document taxonomy dot deserialize, and I'll pass in whatever the text we got from the taxonomy.json. So this is going to keep my object taxonomy again. So in case if we have the local folder under this document processing, if we have this taxonomy.json, then we are going to use load taxonomy directly, this activity. If not, we will read that taxonomy.json file and we will use this document taxonomy.deserialize in order to deserialize that JSON object into the JSON text, whatever we have, right? That we are going to deserialize to document taxonomy, which is our document taxonomy variable .NET type object. So if we execute this now, it is not going to throw us any error. So it is executed. So whether we got this properly or not, that we are going to see when we are using the classification session. Like when we are working with the classification of the documents, we are going to use both load taxonomy and we are going to manually take it from the remote place, remote location, or some different folder, and we will use it. So when we are dealing with multiple document understanding projects, and if we want to maintain a single taxonomy for every process by organizing it into the groups and categories, so there we are going to do that. Now we don't have anything here. So whatever we defined, right, everything is gone because we removed the folder from here and we moved it to some other place. So again, if we start creating, again, we are going to get it here. So let us do one thing. Let us take this, copy, and put it under this folder. Again, we brought that folder back, and let me close this and click on this taxonomy. Everything got reflected now. So in case if we just move it back to the folder, in case if we are starting with any new process, and if you doesn't want to define all these fields again, we can just copy this to your new folder, new project folder, and we can just start directly working from here by modifying the things, whatever you want to. So it is going to reduce your effort as well. So we are going to see in both the ways, like inside the folder and reading it from the remote when we start working with the classification phase of document understanding. And now with this, we completed our taxonomy manager, like how we are going to define the document types and how it looks like when it comes to the taxonomy.json, and how we are going to get the document document taxonomy object. So we covered all this, and the next session we are going to cover with digitization, and then we'll go with the classification again. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Skill RPA.